I'm just going to ask some of the questions from the channel first, and then we can take audience questions. So I just like this simple question by Mr. Comrade Sankara. Why should we vote for you over the other candidate? Like you specifically, what policies do you have that make you better? Do either you want to
Who speaks first?
Actually, we have this lever system here that we can use. If you toggle the lever, then you can say that you're ready to speak. So, oh, okay, you can.
Oh, that's what that was for?
Yep.
That makes sense, actually.
Can I speak?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, the other candidate immediately sent us 5 hours of playtime in April, which means he won't be able to get any products done, any of what he promises with that amount of playtime. It's just not enough. Well, I, of course, have enough playtime to get all that I and Evolution promised them. Moreover, his other Vice Chancellor candidate, Best Firetop, has also very lackluster playtime, which means he won't be able to get anything in-game done either. While me and Evolution, first of all, has already a big stock of pickaxes to begin selling in various shops around the nation, and knows his way around meteorical production. While me, I am ready to fully commit myself to federal projects and build the KU highway rail.
All right, sounds good. Immediate dissent. Would you like to give your opening statement?
Yeah, sure. Just can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So essentially, you should vote the Musketeer Party for a more unified federation. As evidence, the IUP doesn't actually stand for unity, as evidenced by the fact that their first opening statement was not why you should vote for the IUP, but an attack on me as a candidate. Our platform achieves a lot of great things in the IF, and it advocates for more unity between states and the Federation, which I argue is one of the most important things.
All right, thank you. Excuse me, sir. I'd like to ask you to move out of the way. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. All right, let's move up to some other questions. Here's a good one about some rail policy. Will you push for the finishing of the Danny line to connect the Caridian Union to Pavia, and how will you do that? Let's see. Yes, immediate dissent. You put it first.
Yes, I'm very much in support of connecting the Caridian Union with Pavia, that rail line. Pavia is one of our closest economic partners. As you can see in my platform, I'm fully in support of increasing economic ties with Pavia, which constructing a rail line between the two regions would do. Now, for how I achieve to aim this, the answer is always through the Department of Infrastructure. Shout out to Asgir for basically carrying that department for the entirety of the IF history. In my platform, I support giving more funds as well as enabling and hiring more people to actually do work for the Department of Infrastructure, which would allow us to get reforms to the rail system that are already underway to be done much, much faster than they are currently. Because right now it's basically just Asgir and whoever volunteers from the state that the infrastructure is being done.
All right, Banana Book.
As stated in my platform, I will work on the KU pipeline myself. I will not let other people handle it, or at least rely on the work of other people, because I do not trust, I prefer to do the work myself to ensure that it is done. I used to live in the Caribbean Union, so I know how hard it is to get from there to Pavia. At the same time, getting to Pavia is essential for the experience of any single player, because all the main shops are there. So I will take it in my own hands and build the rail line myself.
Alrighty, thank you for that. Let's move on to a pretty unrelated question, but I think this is a good one too. It's what will you do to fix the enthusiasm problem? This is a question from Pandastical. He says, I don't know exactly how to put it, but I feel like we all know what I'm talking about. Activity is low, the community is spread apart and disconnected. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, feel a bit aimless and don't really know what they want to do when they log on. How will you solve this and reproduce the sense of Imperial Federation community? Yes, immediate dissent.
Hey, thank you. So people who have followed me through the IF know that I've always been big about unity within the Federation. I mean, we've seen it with the Great Western Boundary. We've seen it with now Volvi. We've seen it with so many states that want to secede because they don't feel part of a federation as a whole. Now, the way we can fix that is by having more interstate events, such as state fairs, and using more of the Department of Culture. Because in reality, the Department of Culture is a super cool thing that I wish was utilized more in the Federation. If we have more interstate events, sure, they won't make the IF the #1 economic superpower or military hegemon, but it would make the IF a much more fun place to be and have a much more tight-knit community, which I would argue is more important than economic strength or military strength.
All right. Banana Blue, do you want to answer that question?
Can I speak?
Yes, you may. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't think interstate events or Department of Culture can fix this, this fairs or whatever, because these are, the way people work. You can't just knit a community together by making them do events once a month. The point is that this division that Pandastical sees is tied to the very nature of the IF as a federation, decentralized federation. If we wanted to fix this, we will have to be, there will have to be many changes to how the IF works internally to make it really the government itself, the states will have to be, the government will have to be much more centralized, and the states will have to lose autonomy to fix the crisis on that cultural.
Already? Yeah, thank you. I just want
Can
to.
I give a response
Oh
to
yes,
this,
you
Jim?
can respond to that if you want.
Yeah, so I think your claim about interstate events not doing anything to fix, the disconnected nature of the Federation, I think that's just false. Because why is the Federation disconnected? We must first ask ourselves this. And the reason is that when people join, they stay in their state. They don't ever venture out from their state. They only talk to people from their state. They're basically only active in their state. They're not active as part of the Federation in a whole. Now, what these interstate events does, it gives cause for people to interact more with people from other states. It gives cause for people to actually look and see what other states are like, visit other states, experience more of what like being in a federation is actually like. So through that, we can make people feel more as part of a federation than just a loose collection of states that are all disconnected from each other.
All right. Do you want to respond to that response, or should we move on? Oh yes.
This is all a very abstract talk, saying that these events will make people feel this and that, but people just do not work like that. You cannot just make them feel more united by showing them a town in another state, because you say that people never leave the state, but that is just not true. People eventually. Maybe you say that because you're inactive, so you don't really travel much to other states. But I have done a lot of recruiting, and from what I have seen, new friends do live and explore the rest of the IF. And that is not letting them see other states. It's not what will fix this issue. It's a much more fundamental issue. And I am not for more centralization. I don't think we should centralize the government, because that will just make us lose what makes us, what makes the IF the IF.
Alrighty. Thank you for that. Let's move on to the departments. Mentioned departments. Obviously, they're talked about a lot nowadays. I just want to ask if right now you have any ideas for the department heads. If that's something that the Department of Infrastructure, Department of Economy, Department of Builds, Department of Culture. Those. Yes, Banana Blue. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I will leave open like me and Evolution, we plan on leaving open applications for all departments. Though personally, we will just follow the Department Act and let people apply. Um, Though personally, I think the Department of Intelligence will stay the same with the best firetop, and so will the Department of Infrastructure with Asgir, because they are both very competent people and know, their trade. But the other departments are very flimsy right now, with people changing, about every term. I'd like to stay as the department, as the head of culture, because I think I have done a good job with the coronation. The Department of Bills, I will just have to open application and see who candidates, maybe Potato will, and the Department of Economy. I don't think there is really anyone good enough who fits the position. Maybe Evolution will take it, or maybe we will see another person step up who is competent enough to take on the job.
Alrighty, thank you. Immediate dissent. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I think I will keep the major departments the same. For example, infrastructure and builds. The key departments I am planning on changing is, for one, economy. Uh, I know I probably wasn't the best department of head of economy, but I've noticed that we haven't really had a good one, like, ever in the Federation. So I think we definitely need to get someone competent. I will be holding open applications for the Department of Economy. And in terms of Department of Culture, I will be having to replace Banana Blue because he has repeatedly stated opposition to my desires for the Department of Culture, along with the fact that he said that he wouldn't do any federal work if he wasn't elected. So I don't think it makes sense to put him in charge of the department.
Can I reply?
Yes, of course.
He lied. I didn't say I will not do any federal work if I was elected. I said I will fully commit myself if I was elected. I will still do federal work, like events and the coronation. If not elected, I will just not do as much if I was elected
Alrighty.
as if I was elected. So basically, I will not do much as if I lose the election. But if I do win the election, I will fully commit myself to the federation.
Oh boy, someone just
Did they just blow up?
Yeah.
Oh dear, IF is imploding. Oh god, no. Well, anyways, I would just say that I mean, I have the messages, and that's how I interpreted it. But regardless of if you would commit yourself, you don't agree with my vision for the Department of Culture, and that's something we couldn't reconcile. So,
Also,
yeah.
I do plan on interstate fairs and that kind of stuff. I just don't think they are the solution to.
I haven't seen
fixing.
any evidence of you planning for that right now. So,
Yeah, because I worked on the coronation.
Yeah.
The coronation, which has been in a terrible state for 2 years, no one worked on it. I fully planned it, and it is going to take place on the 27th.
Alrighty.
27. So Sunday, right?
Yeah.
What time?
The time hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah.
But probably before the results for the election are announced.
Let's move on to a slightly related question that what you were talking about. This is from Orzork. He says, how are you going to handle opposing political views to ones of your own, potentially people who are not in your political party? What are your thoughts on that? Yes, Banana Wood.
Very simply, if they are competent, they will have a place in the government like they deserve, and if they are not competent, they will not have a place in the government. I will not discriminate based on political views. I will discriminate based on competence and merit.
Alright. Immediate dissent. Do you have anything to say to that question?
Yeah, I'm always open to differing political views. I don't discriminate. I mean, the main thing for me is always going to be competency. But I will say, if you're like generally a toxic person, always getting into fights, I don't take kindly to that. So I support opposing political views, but I don't like political arguments to the point where they become toxic.
Alright. Let's see. Let's talk about democracy then. This is a question from Askew. He says, first, do you desire to democratize the Imperial Federation further at the state or federal level? And if yes, would you be opposed to forcing states to democratize? Yes, banana blue.
Right, could you
We
just
will
repeat
not
the
force
question?
any democracy. Will
Uh,
not
uh,
force or encourage democracy at the state level. I think the situation is fine as it is right now. So we will let the states run themselves, may it be monarchy, oligarchy, or whatever. They can decide for themselves, and forcing democracy is just government overreach.
all right. By the
But
way, immediate dissent. The question was,
is
yeah,
this the democracy in states
yes,
thing?
yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think. First of all, I don't think it's constitutional for the IF to force democracy on any state. I also don't support it because, for one, a lot of times it doesn't make sense for a state to be a democracy. For example, when you only have 3 or 4 people in the state, you basically half the people are going to be running, and so you have elections that have maybe 2 votes in total. That just doesn't really a functioning democracy. Democracies only work when you have a large enough population to actually have feasible elections. So yeah, I do not support forcing democracy on states, but if they choose to have a democracy, I'm all for it.
Alrighty, that sounds good. Let's move on to some foreign policy talks, and then we'll move on to audience questions if people have them. But this is just a general policy from Comrade Sinkar. He says, "What is your foreign policy? You know, would you describe yourself as isolationist? Maybe you want to cooperate, more alliances, less alliances. What's your thoughts on that?" Oh, yes, Banana Blue, very enthusiastic.
The foreign policy is that we will keep the status quo on most things, except for NISO. I would like to establish friendly relations with NISO. We have friendly relations with most nations in the region, and friendly relations can only bring good things. So I want to establish friendly relations with NISO too, since they are the only nations in ONRF which does not recognize us.
Wait, Blue, I do have a question. Wasn't Anissa the one that stated they hated us, like Cesspes or whatever his name is? Isn't he the one that's been spreading the anti-IF rhetoric?
Yeah, but the point is that we can still make peace. We don't have to be hated by an ISO and hate an ISO. We don't have to be in a state of conflict. As the best has stated his intention to establish friendly relations with the AF. So, while currently we are in a state of conflict, it will not stay like this forever.
So Cesspes, this guy, he stated that like he's super anti-IF, but at the same time he wants to like advocate friendly relations. I'm just trying to get an understanding here.
Yeah, I talked with him, and the topic came up, and he told me that he is open to establishing friendly relations with the IF, although right now he
All right,
doesn't like the IF at all.
interesting,
All
interesting.
right, immediate dissent. Do you want to answer the original question on what your foreign policy is?
Okay, yeah. For foreign policy, I generally support improving relations with all of our allies, such as the allies we have on Deluvia. I also generally want to maintain friendly relations with everyone on the server. The IF doesn't have actually any natural enemies. Like nobody really hates us out and out except maybe Anissa, but as Blue stated, they're open to friendly relations, so I'd also like to pursue that. But the main thing around my foreign policy goals is increasing economic ties with Pavia. Currently, they're one of the biggest, our biggest economic partners, and in improving infrastructure between our two nations, as well as potentially putting IF shops on Main Street, as well as building embassies in both of our respective capitals. I think these measures could go a long way in strengthening IF Pavian cooperation.
No, sounds good. I also want to say I appreciate Godine's comment here. Yeah, found that a little humorous. All right.
Is that how you pronounce it? Godine?
Yeah. No, I don't
I thought it was
know.
Gideon, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, sure, that makes more sense. Oh, I like how you said the Abi bombing would make it look like Ohio. I agree with that. Related to that, we have the question: would you describe yourself as an expansionist um, in terms of the Imperial Federation's land? Yes, inevitably.
While it is true that we have very large claims, most of them are unusable snowy mountains. At the same time, I think we do have enough land to make to recruit new people and to and for the people who currently live here already, there is enough land. I don't think we need to expand. There is no need for any expansion besides what we have right now.
All right. Immediate dissent.
My thoughts on this: we have enough unused land so that the IF doesn't really need more. We have enough land to house twice your current population. I mean, if you look at a lot of the eastern states, they still have a bunch of unused land that could be potentially expanded upon and urbanized. And we've already seen new states that are being popped up in old unused land, such as William Sixteen's building of Esberg. Now it's called Avalon, I think. So I think we should be focusing on reusing our land that we currently have that's sitting unused instead of trying to expand more into the other areas of the server.
All right. Let's do two more questions from this, and then we can get audience questions. First, this is a question from Jolf, actually. He says he has no strong opinions either way, but what would you think about creating a sort of national company like other nations have? I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but if you have a response, you can. Yep. Banana Blue.
I believe there is no need for a national company per se, like an official company, because it's just an extra step, or at least LARP. I will just go straight to the point and produce meteoric iron tools with evolution and sell them under the banner of the Federation without any middleman or national companies. There is no need for that. It is just a waste of time to establish other entities when we can work to expand the treasury and make money for the nation with what we have already.
Okay. Immediate dissent. Anything like that?
I do want to ask some questions on Banana Blue. A large part of your platform does revolve around selling pickaxes that Pollution had produced before, I believe under Anvard. So if we do start selling these Anvardian pickaxes or whatever the demonym is, wouldn't that be sort of a national company if we're selling them under the IF banner, but they were produced by another entity?
No, it will not. Amverd is really just was being created just to claim things. There is no Amverd shop, or I don't think there is an Amverd Discord. And in this case, the pickaxes we're producing will be produced personally by me and Bush. So at this point, the Amber company is just a way to claim the land that Evolution needs for its farms. I don't really think this constitutes a national company.
All right. And can immediate dissent. Do you want to answer the question?
Yeah, sure. Now I don't really agree with Blue's characterization of what a national company entails. I don't think it's like a middleman per se. It's just saying that the IF will make an effort to sell this as part of the Federation's economy. That's my view on it, at least. And I've always been a support in making a national company. I think there's a lot of things we could do. For example, if we ever get a reliable XP production going, which is part of my platform actually, we could then start selling enchanted tools to our citizens for cheap, which would help supplement the treasury as well as give our citizens easier access to tools. Secondly, I think one of Jalf's like side hustles, apart from being king of the IF, has been to make city and vault bastions. You know, he makes that personally, but I'm wondering if we could potentially spin that into an IF owned, like an IF venture, meaning that we could use IF resources to help make these city and vault bastions, distribute them to states that want them, as well as sell them to other nations who potentially want city and vault bastions, which would again benefit the states as well as benefit the state of the treasury.
All right. And final question before we move to audience questions. So if the audience has any questions, you can start thinking now. What would you think about a plan to city bastion the Imperial Federation, or just at least start distributing those to states? Yes. Banana Blue.
It can be a very beneficial project for preventing raiding and grifts and all that kind of stuff. But it is also a very huge undertaking, which will take a very long time. So the most I will do during my term to work towards this objective will be putting money aside for it, so that either me in future terms or the Chancellor in future terms will have the money needed to work on this project.
Okay. Immediate dissent. Yep.
Yeah, I think that on paper the idea for city bashing the entirety of the IF sounds good, but we do need to take into consideration two things. First of all, it's that some states definitely don't want IF city bastions in their territory. I think JM, you've been opposed to the idea of federal military infrastructure being in Godhaven, and obviously Voldy was extremely opposed to the idea of having bastions in their territory. So one of the most important things that I would have to consider before like putting IF bastions into like any state would be first the state's consent, and then secondly, I do agree with Banana Blue on this. The IF is simply too large to effectively bastion all of it immediately. It'd be a huge undertaking that would probably take thousands of diamonds and a few months, which we currently don't have the money for. So I would definitely support city bastioning the most necessary areas of the Federation, such as major cities. I think every state's main city should have a city bastion in it, but I don't necessarily think land that's not being used should have it right now.
All right. Thank you for those responses. Let's see. Do we have any audience questions? Oh, yes. Do you want to be moved into the thing, or do you just want to? Oh, okay. We can just ask in chat. What are the candidates' plans on recruitment and retention? Yes, Banana Blue.
I have a lot of personal experience with this because, as you may know, I have created the largest state in the history of the AF with Idris and achieved 5 senators. So I consider myself a bit of an expert on recruitment. And what I can say is that I plan on hiring paid recruiters with the money I make, of course, from vein mining and meteoric tool sale. I plan on hiring paid recruiters because I have observed during my time in Idris that paying people to recruit is extremely effective. It brought me 25 citizens, so I will absolutely pay people to recruit and to send new friends to states who need new people to survive.
All right. Immediate dissent. Any questions?
Yeah, this is one of the few things I mostly agree with Blue on. I do believe that having some sort of paid recruitment scheme is very beneficial for the IF. However, I would implement it a little bit differently. For one, I would give money to the state for the new friends, as well as instead of having like paid recruiters whose sole job it is to recruit new friends, I would open new friend payment to everyone. So it's more of a universal incentive to recruit new friends and get that money instead of just having a few people who do it. Because obviously, if we have everyone trying to recruit people for the IF, it's a lot faster and more efficient to do so.
All right. Oh, we have a request to speak from Cyan for us. Let's try moving that. Oh, did that work? How do I move? Invite to speak. Did that work?
I'm a little high right now, but here's my question. Let me send them to the microphone. Okay. How will you help Cyania in the other states? My question.
Can I answer this first?
Sure. Yes.
Probably
Go ahead.
this thing.
Like directly
Okay,
help.
so my plan for helping the states, in my platform, I've advocated for ensuring compactor access in every state. So I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure whose mic that is. But again, my plan is to ensure compactor access for every state, as well as ensure to like give funding to states that are either newly started or newly developing again. For example, Cyania would be one of them because Cyan Force just came back from total inactivity. So I think measures that help new states get off the ground will make them develop that much faster and be that much more likely to stay in the Federation.
All right. Thank you. Banana Blue. Any response?
This is very dependent on the specific needs of every state, so I can't provide really general answer into corridor. But I, of course, will help any states that request it, because especially new states. because the power of growth lies in new states, not already established states who have already grown. So I do want to help new states, poor states who need it.
All right, sounds good. Do we have any other audience questions here? Oh, sure. Yeah. You can ask a question. Do you want me to move you to the thing? Or you just want to ask in chat? Oh, sure. What are your opinions on the Grove part and the alliance with the guy? I think Grove part's pretty cool. Yes.
I generally want to improve our alliance with Grove Heart. I think having good relations with every member state every nation in Deluvia is a good endeavor, and closer ties to Grove Heart is generally just a good thing for the IF.
Okay. Banana Blue, yes.
Okay, well, I am not very fond of secession. At the same time, though, I understand Grovert and the Grovartians had their reason to secede. And most of all, having good relations with our neighbor is essential to any good foreign policy. So I think the SSDC, which is the Tripartite Alliance, which has Grovert is there, is a good thing. And also, I do want to strengthen our ties, the IS ties with Robert.
Alrighty. Oh, yes, Mr. Cooperman, you can ask a question. Do you want me to drag you in? I mean, if you want to speak, I'll let you move in. Oh, you can ask in chat. Oh, sure. Okay, you can just ask in chat. There's the question is, what will you do for Thorian rights? Yes, Banana Blue.
Thoria does not exist, and it has not existed in a year. These people who are here, Sapphire and Mr. Coca-Cola, are people from Ilakevul who have come back here because I have threatened to destroy their farms. They only come to the F to harvest farms, even though they are foreigners, practically in every other way. And I have threatened to destroy the farms that they also dear. And so they have come back here to threaten me and sue me. Even though they have failed in the course, they are still attempting to slander me. But what they are parasites on DIF, and they use our land. They put their farms in our land, but they do not live here. They are foreigners.
Alrighty. Immediate dissent. What do you have an answer to that?
First of all, I just want to say, if you replace Thorian with any sort of ethnicity, you get canceled immediately. Okay. Secondly, I believe that any sort of land dispute or property dispute in the Federation should be resolved in the court of law. It is not the Chancellorship's place, nor do they have the power to take a stand on this, and therefore I'm staying neutral on Thorian rights. Or, well, more accurately, the question of Thorian farms.
Alrighty. Do we have any final questions that anyone has? Cyan Forest, do you have a question? Oh, okay. There's a question. Do we have any thoughts on a banking system?
I think that when I talk about a banking system, I mean something different from how it was probably interpreted. I'm pretty sure people took it as I wanted to compete with Monument Group. That's not true. What I do want to do is ensure that the IF, actual Federal Reserve, has full control over the money. I don't want it in hands of foreign power. I want to make our own mechanisms for keeping that money safe instead of trusting another nation or foreign entity with it.
All right. Banana Blue, if you want to. You don't have to answer that, but if you want to.
I think the establishment of an IF run bank is completely unfeasible and just a pipe dream. Not even Icenia could compete even remotely with Monument Bank. They had to shut down the Icenian bank because it was just not active enough. I am a teller in in the Monument Bank branch of Nipolisto, so I can see that barely anyone uses. It is not nearly enough people in the AF use the Nipolisto Bank branch to warrant having their own bank system altogether.
All right.
Can I respond to this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, when I mean banking system, I mean more of a place to store the IF treasury, not really a bank per se. So I don't intend to compete on Monument Bank, and I also realize the infeasibility of doing so. But I apologize to any people who may have thought in my platform that they may have come across the wrong way. But I do not intend to compete with Monument Bank.
Our treasury can be already stored in the vault, so we do not need our place or institution. We can just put it in the vault.
Alrighty. Do we have any? Oops, sorry. Do we have any final questions before we move on to closing statement? Why is duty? Okay. I don't think we have any important questions left. Let's move on to the closing statement. Let me just make sure there's no other questions lying around. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let's move on to closing statements. Do either of you want to give your closing statement first?
I can do it.
Okay.
First.
Yep.
I believe the other candidates are entirely unfit to run this nation, as they are inactive and have been inactive for a long time, especially the Senate. Moreover, I am fully committed to the Federation if I do win the election. I will do all that I have promised. I have not promised anything that we cannot accomplish during the term. I will personally work on the construction of the KU Pave line. I will personally work on Pemelo, and I will also work with Evolution to sell military tools and provide our citizenry with cheap netherite tools.
All right. Immediate dissent. Your closing statement.
Yeah, if I'm elected Chancellor, I will be committing all of my time on CivMC to support the Imperial Federation, including working on federal projects. I've been one of the only people to actually work on Glendalough so far. I believe that a federation should actually have active volunteers working for federal projects. Thank you for potatoes, whoever that is. I also think that the Musketeer Party supports a vision of unity, a closer federation than ever before, a more tight-knit community, and also has policies that improve the economy as well as the states. So all in all, I would say vote for the Musketeer Party. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that seems to be it. And I think that was a very nice, productive debate.